and welcome to my comic book review video. Today my review is going to be slightly different. It was a massive week, a killer week. Like a month's worth of comics come out in 1 week, and yeah, there's some back issues in there, but it was still a monster week. So I ain't going to be able to do my reviews in the same way. It's just going to take far too long, because I like to review all my books, so it's going to take far too long to do that. So what I'm going to do this week is, if things are going to be a bit different, I'm not going to do look at any of the art, internal art. I'll give a brief overview of the story, and then just what I liked and disliked. That'll basically be what it'll be today. I won't waffle on as much. While I've got this opportunity, I would like to take the chance to thank everybody who's subscribed to my channel, or who watches my videos every week, or comments on my videos every week. It's greatly appreciated. I do this primarily for fun, but it makes it so much more worthwhile when you know other people are watching these videos or are enjoying these videos. So thank you, it means a great deal to me. The other thing I'd like to take the opportunity, to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. May your Christmas be filled with joy, happiness, and plenty of comics. Well, that's what I've got to say, so let's get on with the show. So first up we have Avengers issue 2. I loved issue 1. Issue 2 was even better. HeMan then takes the opportunity this issue. He doesn't really move the story forward, but he moves your understanding of the story forward, and it's a nice little thing that he does here. We start off on Mars, and you know, as last issue, our Avengers had their asses kicked. So all except Captain America are being held captive by these 3 villains. We get to find out who they are, what their connection to each other is, and also what their plans are for Earth. And then we get like a nice little montage of showing how Captain America and Iron Man recruited all these new Avengers, and then Cap has to make a decision about what to do next. And it was a really great issue. I really enjoyed it. My only gripe would be the art. I thought some of the noses were a bit too pointy, and I hated the way Openia drew Captain Marvel. She looked a lot more like a man than Captain Marvel. So yeah, but that's only a minor growth. Everything else was really good. It moves the story. The actual story, we're still where we were at the end of issue 1, but you understand everything and what's going on. I'm certainly excited. HeMan is really telling an epic story with this book, and it's well worth checking out. And you know, my highlight of the book for me was the whole interaction between the different characters when they've been recruited. I like that montage, and HeMan got to get a few laughs in there as well. But the rest, yeah, I had reservations before this book come out, but now it's definitely gone on my pull list, and I give it a thumbs up. Next up is issue 6 of the brilliance that is Hawkeye. As always, this book focuses on what Hawkeye does on his days off. So this is six nights in the life of Hawkeye, and you know, so he gets a concussion doing a mission with the Avengers. He gets a concussion, so he decides he's going to be off until the new year. And he sort of goes home, and in the first 3 issues we've seen a lot of stuff happen to him, and this issue it all comes back on him. We get the repercussions of what happened, and so that you know is really good to see. And Hawkeye has to face up to the consequences of his actions, and has to make a difficult decision. You know, should he stay or should he go? You know, that the people that he's upset, they're like, we're going to kill everybody in your flats if you don't go. So should he stay and fight and try and defend the place, or should he leave? A really great issue. I'm loving how Matt Fraction writes Hawkeye. I never thought I'd be enjoying a Hawkeye book as much as I'm enjoying this one. Fantastic read. Great to see David Aja back. I don't know the name. It's like David Aja, but he's Spanish, so I don't know if that J they pronounce as a H, and it's David Haha or David Aja. But either way, the team of Aja, Ollinsworth, and Fraction are just brilliant. They just all together produce a fantastic book, and each issue is just fantastic. Then they're just keeping the quality up all the time, and yeah, this book was one of the surprises of 2012 for me, and a definite thumbs up. Next up we have A+X issue 3. So we have two stories here. The first story, which features the Black Panther and Storm, is written by Jason Aaron with art by Pascal Ferry. And our second story, which features Hawkeye and Gambit, is written by James Asmus and art by Billy Tan. And one of the things I really like about this book is not just the random team-ups of the characters, but also the way we get writers the opportunity to write characters they wouldn't usually write, or the way it gives a spotlight for maybe an up-and-coming writer or artist to work on a book. That's one of the things I really like about this book, and that excites me about this book. The first story about Black Panther and Storm is kind of them dealing with their annulment and, you know, their last meeting now. Like last time they got together, things didn't go so well. So this time they sort of have a proper conversation about what's happened to them and try and move forward. The second story features Gambit and Hawkeye, two womanizers, and they're both kind of like competing to save this woman from this kind of monster. Both stories were fun, you know. This isn't a book that's going to be really deep, but both stories were fun. I enjoyed both. I left this book with a smile on my face. I continue to enjoy it. I just really like not just the random team up of characters, but I like the way the team ups of like the different artists and the writers, getting writers the opportunity to write characters, or artists the opportunity to draw characters they wouldn't usually do. So yeah, I continue to love this book and I give it a thumbs up. Next up we have Avengers Arena issue 2. I liked issue 1 and I was curious to where this series would go, and this issue I liked even more than issue 1, and I think I'm definitely on board now with Avengers Arena. I just really would love to see where this story is going to go. We mainly focus this issue on Rebecca Riker, and we get to see who she is, how she got to be how she is, and so that's really nice. You're getting into that character more. There is another death, but we never really see that much of that character until they die. And then sort of all the kids have sort of all split off, and sort of we're following Rebecca as she's alone, and she doesn't want to be alone because she knows people are going to get into teams, and it's at the moment the kids are still trying to figure out what to do. Should they do what Arcade tells them and to kill everybody else, or should they try something else? And I liked that here. You could see that already there's that conflict between the characters. The characters, I think, we need to do this, we need to start killing each other. And the characters are like, we can't let him resort us to this, to that. I'm really excited about where this series is going to go. You can't sustain a comic where you're going to kill off characters all the time. So there's got to be a twist at some point, or, you know, that's going to keep this book going. I still say my prediction is it's kind of going to be like The Matrix, and they think that it's reality, but they're actually hooked up to some computers, and Arcade is making them, you know, using technology to create his murder world, and to be able to take all of these kids out and make them do what he wants. So that would then be a way to get out of all these deaths, that people aren't really dead, they're just out of the game. But yeah, I'm enjoying this book, and it's well worth checking out. It's a book I wasn't going to try, but I'm glad I did. The art as well in here is really good. Yeah, I'm just really enjoying the heck out of this, and I give it a thumbs up. So yeah, I got 2 issues of Captain Marvel this week. I'd heard Talking Comics talking about how it had been a good book. I picked up issue 1, liked the art, I liked the story, but then I think it was one of them times where issue 2 come out sooner than I anticipated, and I missed it, and I didn't go back to get it. It was just something I always meant to pick up, and then by the time I thought, oh yeah, I got to pick it up, I was a few issues behind, so I just didn't go back to it. But I'm glad I listened to Talking Comics and did give this another go. I really love what Kelly Sue McConaughey is doing with Marvel, Captain Marvel. So this is a nice jumping on point with these 2 issues, because it's a 2-part story, which is something that's nice, because so often these days stories will last for like 6 or 12 issues, so they can be put into the graphic novel. And it's just really nice that that we get a shorter story, because it's nice to be able to delve in, you read the story, and you can sort of make assessment of the character. So yeah, issue, Captain Marvel is called in by Monica Rambeau. Monica used to be Captain Marvel. She was also at one time the leader of the Avengers, but then she hasn't lost her powers, but something happened to her powers, and we haven't really seen that, or I haven't seen that much of her since. She's got different names now. In the past she's used different names. I think like Proton, I think was the last name I think she was using. But she calls in Captain Marvel for help because these boats are going missing. So Captain Marvel goes looking for these boats, and they find all these shipwrecks under the sea. This reporter comes to help them because he wants Monica to look into something else, and she says, if you help me, I'll help you. So then they're all together, like looking thing, and they find something, and what they find leads to a big fight. Really 2 good issues. I really like the art in here. Dexter Soy does the art, and probably the only bit of art I'm going to show you today. I just really love this under the sea picture when they find all the shipwrecked vehicles. I loved the banter, the back and forth banter between the current and the former Captain Marvels. And I just loved as a whole what they're doing with Captain Marvel as a character. And yeah, I'd give both issues 7 and 8. I'd give them both a thumbs up. And yeah, this is one I'll definitely be checking out in the future, and a really good book. So if you thought that was a lot, we've got 3 issues now of Wolverine and the X-Men. We've got issue 20, yep, issue 21, and issue 22. First things first, issue 20 of Wolverine and the X-Men mainly focuses on Angel, as you can see him there. He's graduated from the school, and with all the new mutants that are turning up since the end of Avengers X-Men, he wants to go out and help them and bring them to the school so that they can get help. So he locates this girl in Brazil, but she's not too open to him trying to bring her to the the Jean Grey school. But then Mystique and Silver Samurai turn up, and they also want to take her to join their group. So there's a bit of a conflict there, and it's a nice story. I enjoyed this one. People said that they didn't like it that much. It was a weaker issue, but I really liked it. It explained who Angel is, how he's come to be like he is, and everything. So I liked that. I liked the journey that the new character we introduced, as she gets just learning what she can do, and then suddenly all these people kind of want her, and then she by the end of the story she realizes she does need help to learn how to control these powers, and I like that. So yeah, this one I'd give a thumbs up to. Then next up we had issue 21 and 22 are a new story. The kids all wake up at the school and all the teachers are gone, and what's happened is this circus has took all the teachers and is using some magic spell to make them forget who they are and to make them be part of the circus. So the kids turn up and try to save everybody. And there's a little bit of a twist with a horror character, and this is like the students sort of have to go up against the teachers, as the teachers have been brainwashed. But at the same time we sort of get to see who's behind all of this and why they're behind all this. So yeah, 2 good issues. I'm enjoying this book, Wolverine and the X-Men, and I'm glad I've started picking it up again. And yeah, definitely going to be picking up the next few issues, and I give it a thumbs up. So yeah, next up we have Daredevil issue 21. This book is just brilliant. It's a lot like, like with Batman, like with Saga, like with Hawkeye. Every issue just seems to be excellent, and there's never seems to the issues I've read so far of this book, and I haven't been on it since day one, but from where I've joined it, it just always seems to be a really strong book. never has a weak month. This issue, like Daredevil, we get to learn that the Coyote was hired by some people to mess up Daredevil's life and to make him and his friends think he was going insane. We still don't know who they are, so you've still got that mystery bubbling along, but there's a lot of confrontation at the end of this issue and things that are going to push the story on. You get your first glimpse of Superior Spider-Man in this book, and if this appearance is going to be him, he seems a bit of a jerk. As always, I love the heart. I love the way they colour the book, so that it's very dark, and then so like when Daredevil is in his uniform, it really stands out. I do really love how the book is coloured. The art is strong. The story is just magnificent. Every issue, it moves the story constantly, and there's so much great stuff happens. This is a book, if you're not reading it, you're missing out. It's well worth jumping on board this book and maybe catching up with the former books through trades, because it's well worth getting this book. A great book, and I give it a definite thumbs up, and it ran very close for my pick of the week. So next up we have HeMan and the Masters of the Universe, issue 5 of 6. What do I say about this book? The story wasn't that bad. I enjoyed the story. HeMan and Teela were forced to battle to the death by Evil Lyn, still having no memory of who they were. They then decide they're gonna that the fire isn't gonna burn them. They learn, so they could jump into the fire and escape. So it's Evil Lyn sends her forces after them. They find this cavern underneath Evil Lyn's lair, where they find the sword, and Adam just knows he needs to get the sword, but then they get attacked by Battlecat, and then but then Adam has to, can he get to the sword before Battlecat sort of chews him to death. I'm going to spoil it a bit because I need to say what I've got to say. The end of the book, Adam gets the sword, becomes He-Man, everybody gets their memories back. Now, the story was good. I liked the story. What I didn't like is in a 6-part miniseries that you don't get to see the title character until the last issue. Really? Really? That is just really bad. We're going to get one issue of He-Man, and we can't even get that much because it's got to be explained how Skeletor done all of this. So you've got to explain in the next issue how Skeletor did everything, plus have your confrontation between He-Man and Skeletor. Plus you've got to all these allies of He-Man you want to see back. So there's so much they've got to do now in the last issue. It's going to be a bit rushed. I appreciate that Keith Giffen took over the book with when James Robertson had already done issue 1, which was regrettable that they couldn't have just let him, do it. But see, that made things difficult. But even so, I think we should have at least this issue and the next issue we should have had He-Man. 2 issues of He-Man at least. 1 issue is a bit naff. So yeah, I wasn't pleased with that. The art as well seems a bit lazy. There isn't that much detail to a lot of the art, so I wasn't crazy about the art either. So yeah, but the story was good. It wasn't a bad book, but I think I'd have to give it a thumbs in the middle because I really was disappointed that we didn't get to see more He-Man. So next up we have Supergirl issue 15, and it is the Hell on Earth crossover. This issue focuses more on Supergirl, which we didn't really get to see her much last week in our crossover. Hell is still really manipulating her. He's kicked Superman and Superboy out of the Fortress of Solitude, and he's brought Supergirl there because Superman has Kandor, that Brainiac shrunk down. So he's going to try and figure out this way of trying to save Kandor. I'm not sure if this is going to be part of his overall plan. It's still I don't trust this guy, this Hal, but he is seriously manipulating Supergirl. But there's still a lot of questions, like Superboy and Superman sort of say, if he's Kryptonian, how come he's got so many more powers than Superman? So yeah, I like this. I like that we've got a villain that feels big enough that Superman, to be a Superman villain. I still think it's going to be revealed to be Bizarro, that is from another reality, not our universe. But all in all, I enjoyed this book, and I'm enjoying this run. This is a book I'm tempted maybe to keep picking up after this, because I really like how Supergirl is well written here. I'm not as keen on her outfit. It always gets me. Her and Superman both supposed to be Kryptonians, yet her outfit is really skimpy and his is like a full. I don't get it. Wouldn't they both have had the same? If it's supposed to be a protective armor, wouldn't they both have had the same style of armor? Yeah. But anywho, it's a good book. I'm enjoying the crossover, and every week I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, and I give it a definite thumbs up. So, next up we have FF issue 2, and this was a book I was unsure about when it first came out, but I thought I'll give it a go because I'm picking up Fantastic Four, so I thought it'd be fun to pick this one up as well. Fantastic Four are going away for a year, but they'll be back in 4 minutes using time travel. So they've established this team of Ant-Man, Medusa, She-Hulk and Darla to sort of take their place for 4 minutes. But something does go wrong and they don't return. So now they're left in. So now our characters here are left in charge of the Future Foundation, and so like, what do they do? Do they try and find where the Fantastic Four are? What do they do next? And so like, yeah, it is good. A really good book. Our old Fantastic Four villain pops up, and we get a nice face at the end, which is interesting as well. But yeah, I enjoyed this book greatly. It was a really good read, and the art I really like. I can't say I've read too much Mike Aldred, but I really liked his art here. It was really nice, a really unique kind of style, if you can see that quickly. Really nice unique style. But yeah, a really fun book. If you pick it up Fantastic Four, yeah, pick this one up as well, because it was a fun read, and I give it a thumbs up. Next up we have Batwoman, issue 15. Sadly, J.H. Williams only does the first and the last page in this issue, and the rest of the art is done by Trevor McCarthy. And he's a good artist, but he's not J.H. Williams III, and the book always takes a step down. This issue looks at Batwoman's girlfriend Maggie and what she's been doing while Batwoman's been away, with Wonder Woman trying to find Medusa. It sort of follows what Maggie's been doing and what's been going on in Gotham and everything. So that was really cool. I liked that. To take an issue to look at Maggie and what's happening is good. It does the same mechanism that Avengers issue 2 does, whereas the story doesn't really move that far forward, but you get to understand what's been going on a bit more in Gotham while Batwoman and Wonder Woman have been away. I enjoyed it. Though I was disappointed that the art wasn't our usual guy, but hopefully he'll be back next issue. It is an issue if you're short of cash, with this being a big week you could miss. It is very much a filler issue, so yeah. But apart from that, but it's still an enjoyable story nonetheless, so I give it a thumbs up. Here we go. I'm loving this book. It is just really great. Thor God of Thunder issue 3, just like the previous issues, great. We see young Thor, and he survived his battle with the God Butcher, but he's got his ass kicked, and he's licking his wounds. In the present day, Thor goes to this city where all the gods kind of go to end disputes, and he goes to this library to find out the missing gods. He goes to find all the missing gods and finds that they've been murdered by the God Butcher. And he feels because he didn't kill the God Butcher when he was younger, it's his fault. That this guy, if he had finished the God Butcher then, instead of not being so arrogant to turn his attention away from it, that all these deaths wouldn't have happened. He tells Iron Man what's been going on and gets Iron Man to go to warn the other gods of Earth of what's been happening. While Thor is going to go to this cave where he encountered. So then we get a glimpse of young Thor going to this cage and getting captured by the God Butcher, and then we we have the modern day Thor also going to this cave. It's just a fantastic read. The art, as always, by Ribic is just brilliant and gorgeous, and I could just spend ages just looking at the art. But then at the same time, the story is really great, and the way Aaron has done this before, and he does it really well, where he'll tell stories set in different times, but he'll use it well, so he'll let you learn a little bit about what happened there, and then see the repercussions of it, and sort of he balances it well, and it never gets to a stage where it's confusing and you're having to keep up well what's happening. So yeah, another really strong issue, and this is just turning into another really great Thor series, and I give it a definite thumbs up. Next up we have our new X-Men number 4, and this book really picks up this issue. I was a bit disappointed with issue 3, but issue 4 is strong once again, and it gives us what we've been waiting for, the confrontation between Cyclops and Cyclops. And it goes down as always, and I like how he has these little things. Jean can't control her powers, and she's got all these thoughts in her head. So she like lashes out and knocks Cyclops' visor, the current Cyclops. So like then the original X-Men think he's attacking, so this all breaks out. Really good at it, how he does it. And then they sort of escape. The original X-Men decide they need to go back to the school, and Beast is dying. Things don't look good for Beast. Another really good issue, like I said. The art, as always, I think Stuart Immonen gets better and better with each issue. I'm just loving his art. And with the story, Bendis is really crafting this big story, as we get to see the repercussions not just on the people of our world having these original characters turn up, but also on the characters themselves, you know, how it's affecting them. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. It's a great book to pick up if you haven't read X-Men for years. Maybe it got too complicated for you with all the different books, and you're only going to pick up one. This is well worth picking up because, you know, it's a really good read, and I'm loving what's happening, and I give it a definite thumbs up. Next up we have Indestructible Hulk, and Iron Man has learnt that Banner has become an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he doesn't quite believe it, so he turns up thinking they've got him under some kind of mind control, but then they haven't, and Banner tricks Iron Man into going with him on this mission in the Arctic, and while there he hulks up. He feels that Iron Man, Tony Stark, has never treated him as an equal, that they're both geniuses, and he's never treated him as an equal because he turns into the Hulk. So the old Banner would have buckled that up. The current Banner, he doesn't buckle things up. He expresses himself, and that's what he does here. And that's primarily what the issue is about. It's one of those great issues where you get a really good writer in that not a lot happens. That's overall, but it's so well written you can't help enjoying it. I'm loving what he's doing with Banner. How Banner's a lot more upbeat, a lot more, you know, than moping around. He's really feeling positive that he can do all these inventions that can really leave a legacy for himself when he's gone. We also get to see the new armor. I don't know if you saw when Marvel Now was announced, they had the pictures and Hulk was in some kind of armor, and I was like, well, why does the Hulk need armor? But what is really cool in here is it's like Banner is in this armor. Then he becomes the Hulk, and the armor has these like cables on it that stretch, so that the armor stays on. So then when he turns back to Banner, he shrinks because the thing stops stretching, and it shrinks back down to normal armor. So, and I think that's really a really cool idea, so that he never loses his clothes. He's always, you know, when he turns back from the Hulk, he isn't naked. And I thought that is like such a simple idea, but such a great idea by Wade. I love that. The art this issue I really enjoyed. I thought the art was really strong, and yeah, overall I enjoyed this one, even though not that great much happened other than establishing that this Banner isn't going to take no crap. But yeah, I give it Indestructible Hulk an Indestructible thumbs up. So next up we have Green Lantern 15, and Simon Baz is still trying to prove his innocence. He got the address of his sister, of the guy who owned the van. He's going to go to this place, try and find out where the guy parked the van, and then he can prove his innocence. It doesn't go quite according to plan for Simon Baz. A good idea, but it doesn't go quite according to plan, and things go even wronger, get even worse out of shape when the Third Army show up. I'm digging the hell out of this book, really enjoying the whole Simon Baz thing, and I don't know if it's because, it's always accepted that there's more than one Green Lantern, but I don't seem to have that much of a problem with there being a new Green Lantern, and I'm enjoying following him, and I'm liking the character. Even though I really liked Hal Jordan, I think he'd have to be my favourite Green Lantern, but I'm not that upset, and like I say, I don't know, I was a lot more upset about the thought of Peter Parker not being Spider-Man, and I don't know if that's just because the difference of the characters. There's only ever been one Spider-Man, where we've had established for years that there's more than one Green Lantern, so I don't know if that's the difference, but I'm really accepting of Simon Baz, and I'm liking his character, and you can see why the Ring picked him, because he's thinking of others rather than himself. So yeah, another really good issue. The whole Third Army thing seems a bit of a damp squid. Not really much is going on with that, but it's more in the background, it seems, and I don't know if that's happening more in the other books, in the other Green Lantern books, if that's all going on, but certainly in this book you're not seeing it that much. But yeah, another good issue, and I enjoyed it, and I give it a thumbs up. So my pick of the week is Saga. Another fantastic issue. I just think this book is so awesome. If you go out and start collecting one book this year, get Saga. It is brilliant. This issue, we get to see more of the in-laws. Alana gets to know her father-in-law and gets to find out more about why is he going to die. Meanwhile, Marco and his mother are still trying to find Isabel, and they make a shocking discovery about the planet they're on. And then also we get to see at the end a character who's been mentioned a lot makes her first appearance in the book. A character who's been mentioned but we've not seen. We get to see her at the end of this book. But yeah, things are going to get pretty bad for them. It's also nice the story sort of starts off with it goes back and shows you Alana and Marco's first meeting, which is really nice. And yeah, really nice to sort of sort of go back to who they were before we sort of joined the story. I liked that, and this just continued to be such a fantastic book. The art, as always, by Fiona Staples is brilliant. I am just so in love with this book. It's ridiculous. If you've not been reading it, you can get the trade of the first 6 issues. It's really reasonably priced. You can get it from your local comic book shop or even on Amazon. It's well worth checking out because it is a really great series, and I give it a definite thumbs up, and it's once again my pick of the week. And finally we come to my final 2 books of this week to end this mammoth review video, and it's Avengers Assemble. It's also written by Kelly Sue McConaughey, who writes Captain Marvel, and again this was another one that Talking Comics sort of recommended. I bought it, I enjoyed it. The first issue, which is this one, this scientist has gone missing. So Iron Man and Hulk both know him, so they make a bet about who can find him first to prove who's better. So Hulk can ask Spider-Woman to help him, Iron Man asks Thor to help him, and they sort of race off to try and get there first. But things take a dour turn when they find all the people are dead. It then continues in this issue as they're trying to find out what's happened. Hulk drinks some of the water, and they find that whatever killed the scientists is in the water, so now it's inside Hulk. And then they give him some crackers, and then we find out these crackers have been poisoned to react with the water. So now something's happening to Hulk, and it's not going to be good to have a big green, the green Goliath in pain. So yeah, it was a really enjoyable story. I like the banter between the characters. You've got this sense of friendship and this sense of fun, but at the same time they were dealing with some serious stuff. It did remind me a lot of like the older Marvel books. The way, just the tone of the book, it reminded me a lot of that. Really liked the art in this book. I thought the art all the way through it was good. My only gripe, and when I previously had read this book, it was the same gripe I had then, is where does this fit in? I don't need everything to be explained that, oh yeah, this happened after this issue, then this happened. I don't need to be explained like this, but I do need to know, is this the 616, or is it the movie universe? You know? And it isn't clear here. Some ways you think it's the movie uniform because they go to the SHIELD helicarrier with the thing to keep the Hulk in, like in the Avengers movie where they keep Loki. And then, so they've got that, but then you have Iron Man mentioning Planet Hulk. And so it's like, that isn't the movie universe, that's the 616. So like, you're not sure, but then if it's the 616, why are like Captain America and Iron Man in the old costumes and not in the current ones? So it's a bit confusing for me about where we're at with this book. But you know, if you can put that aside, it is a good read. And yeah, and coming off this, I would love to read. If they were going to do another Iron Man book, I'd love to read Kelly Sue McConaughey write Iron Man, because she just seems to have a real good handle on the character, and his dialogue was really good in this book, and I enjoyed it. It was a good read, and I give it a thumbs up.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go?